everybody, and welcome back. And for this video we are going to be trying out a technique that I came up with. I wanted to do a piece with a night sky with lightning coming down, and so I came up with this idea to try this technique out by using some Winsor and Newton masking fluid and putting some of it onto the paper and then blowing on it to create lightning streaks. And then once allowing that to dry, then I would begin layering the black for the night sky on there, allowing each layer to dry as I went, to make sure that it was darkening up. And then once it dried, then once everything was dried, and I used the hair dryer to help speed up the drying time. And then once I made sure that the masking fluid and the background was completely dry, I began just rubbing the masking fluid off with my fingers, and it just comes off really easy. Once it's dry, you can just use your fingers and just rub, and it comes right off. And as you can see, as I'm removing this, you can see how much it preserved the white of the paper. I'm just continuing to rub this off with my fingers. There's some areas where it was being a little bit stubborn. It was just little small tiny areas where I had to put a little bit more effort to get it off, but it really comes off quite easily, the Winsor & Newton, and it really protects the white of the paper. You can also use this on like colored pencil pieces, for like if you want to use an airbrush to do your background, or if you're doing some type of piece that you want to preserve the edges of the actual image from the background. You can put some of this around the edges of your main subject, or to preserve the subject and keep from getting any of your background colors when you're working on your background on there. Again, you can see just continuing to remove these white of the paper. We're continuing to remove that masking fluid. Again, it was Winsor & Newton masking fluid. And then I just brushed off the little pieces with my hand. And there you can see how much of that white was really preserved. It didn't allow any of that watercolor to get in underneath there. Again, I used a 1.5 inch brush to do the layering for the background. There you can see it. I used the 1.5 inch flat angled, and quite a bit of water and black paint, and just layered and continued to layer until it basically was the darkness and the contrast that I liked. I've just got some yellow and some continuing to just add a little water as I need to that yellow, and beginning to add some color to these lightning streaks. That was a 1.5 inch brush. There you can see me drying, and you want to dry each layer before you go on and add a new color or a new layer, because it will just start blending all together if you don't allow it to dry completely. See, I believe that is a number 2, and putting some blue into there. Continuing to add little details to the lightning streaks. And first brush I used, I believe, was a number 4 round, and these are all round brushes from Royal & Langnickel Taklon bristles. And all the supplies I used in this video will be listed in the description below, along with links if you would like to purchase these, or if you want to know if you want to remember what type of brush it was. Again, I believe this is a number 4, the number 4 again. And now I have switched to some ultramarine blue, which is more of a violet blue, to kind of give it some more contrast. And I'm going to use some of that ultramarine blue and kind of put some of that into the backdrop as well, into the background, to give that night sky a little more variation and contrast. I'm just kind of spreading that around, making sure I've got a good even balance. Because remember, we were going for a night sky effect here, which means that we want it's not going to be completely black. You're going to have other colors, because the sky is going to reflect whatever is in its surroundings. And when you've got lightning striking, you're going to have the colors from that lightning reflected in the sky. Now I'm just using a number 6 round brush with some white and quite a bit of water, and just kind of dabbing it on my hand to create some stars in the sky. And using that hairdryer to speed up the drying time. I decided that I needed to put some of that yellow from the lightning into the night sky as well. And drying that. Decided that I needed to really cover up the big blobs that the lightning strikes came off of, to make it look more like its actual lightning strikes. So I decided to use some of that blue mixed with a little bit of that black to kind of cover up those areas, to make it look more like individual lightning streaks coming down out of the clouds. And I just continued to layer that, altering the blue and the black until I had a good coverage over that area. Then once that was dry, I added some blue to kind of give the clouds some more variation in the coloring, so that they also reflect their environment. And then I added some white to kind of give the clouds some highlights from the lightning strikes. Again, using that hairdryer to dry it. And now I'm going to slowly remove the tape as to not tear the paper. And again, I'm using painter's tape here, but I still had problems with it if it had been on there for very long, and if I tried to pull it off too quick, it would rip the paper. So I found if the shorter time it was on there and the slower I went, it would not do that. And now we turn it around, and there we have our night sky with some lightning streaks.
Again, this was a first attempt, and I like how it came out. Again, I had a little too much lightning going on in there, but we get, for a first attempt and a first try with this technique, I think it turned out really well. I hope you liked this, and I hope you come back for the next video. Be sure to give it a like and a thumbs up, and be sure and click on that bell so that you get notifications when my next video is up.